Hi, this is Jacqueline here with the Grow Program. Thank you for growing with me on today. Thank you for growing, period. Because I'm telling you, we are on a journey. We truly are. And I am so excited every day, even to think about when it's time to get on the podcast. It's exciting. It's exciting when I wake up in the morning and lay my eyes on my devices and begin to inspire people, begin to motivate people, begin to lift people, and lift us all over the world. Because just as there is a movement of evil, there is a movement of God, a movement that is propelling us forward, that is going to take us on to greatness and genuine equality as we rise and grow in love and become a God servant to one another. It is a really, truly beautiful movement to see that ambassadors all coming together, people who are just beginning to come together, and people who are seeing what is going on. How we are praying it forward, praying it forward to the people who are really truly oppressed, as I am ministering to people, changing minds and hearts to grow. That's what we're doing. We're trying to grow in love, and I can see us, I can really truly see as the earth, the round earth, as God is shining his light on the earth, as the earth spins. God is shining his light on the earth, but at the same time, there's a movement that's going over this big ball of confusion, and it's going to straighten us up. We are going to grow in God because God commands us to love. That's the one thing that we all know how to do, is love one another. That's how we are going to rise from this oppression. That's how we are going to cut down on a lot of foolishness that's going on, because it's a better way of thinking, a better way of acting, and a better way of living in God. See, you got it mixed up because you think you just get right on one day and that's Sunday. That's the only day that you get right. No, you represent God every single day. You don't just represent God on Sunday. So what you represent the rest of the week? Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, what those days represent? They don't represent God. So you can't get up and dress your Sunday best and look your Sunday best when you go out the door because you are God. You represent God. God's spirit is in you. He says so in Zechariah 4:6. By my spirit, you represent me. So every day, get up in the morning and present yourself to the world. Begin if you if you are in the bed, well, you can't move around, start, doing exercise, do what you can. Begin to eat better, begin to think better, because as a conqueror, that's how we have to think. We have to begin to think better about ourselves. We have to begin to think better about each other, about the way we act around each other, the way we do one another. See, we are conquerors. So we on this force and team together. We can't be against one another. We got to be together. As united we stand. I'm telling you, we are on the battlefield for the Lord. So we are getting through. I want you to turn around and look over your life. Don't go back, but look back. Look and see what God done brought you out of, how God done delivered you out of the situation he got you out of. Just look and see what God done for you. I'm telling you, I'm telling you, God has brought you out of situation. You are living a legacy for the Lord. You are living a legacy for God. You really, truly are. You are a legend. And one thing I want you to remember, all legends aren't famous. All legends aren't famous, and legends rise. We got some examples of some great legends, some wonderful legends. Now I'm gonna tell you something. It don't matter what you did in the past. It don't matter what you used to be. It don't matter what they said you are. Because who you used to be is what created who you are today. That's why I told you to thank your past. Thank you, past. That means that I know not to make that mistake no more. That means if I get back in that situation, Lord, we know how to get out of it. If something happened, dear Lord, I know how you brought me out the last time, so I know how I'm going to get out the next time. Should that particular storm come my way, because it's been some rough storms. I tell you, it's been some rough storms. It has been some rough storms in this life, but I tell you this. Where man has failed, God has prevailed. And God will prevail. See, that's what you got to do. You got to trust you and God, because you got to know that even though you can't see the Lord, he said, by my spirit, and the spirit of God is in you. So you got to know that you are a conqueror, that you are more than a conquering God. See, I'm telling you something. I got a force behind me, honey. I got God and the beloved ancestors that's pushing this movement. It ain't me, honey. They pushing me. They riding me on this highway of life. Like you get rolled out there when you're on the road. You know, somebody riding your tail and trying to get you to run, trying to run you down to get where they trying to go, you know, which is nowhere. And about kill you and kill them at the same time. You know, it's really ridiculous how we have gotten as a people. You know, we don't even care about one another no more. We have been programmed. We have been programmed to tear each other down and to tear ourselves down. But growth is here to unprogram us, to turn us back around the way we was before, because we love one another. I'm telling you something, honey. You can believe the history books, whatever you heard, whatever you think you heard, whatever you think you know. But I will tell you this. Before colonization came over there, honey, we was getting along. It wasn't no jail cells and prison and different things. You know, we was getting along as a people because we did what God commanded us to do. That's to love one another. And that's what we did. You know, yeah, you had a few rebels, but them rebels was dealt with, honey. Yeah, you acted like you a king and a queen. If you didn't, you're going to be dealt with like a rebel. And that's the same way as that's going to go on in the spirit world. You're going to be dealt with like a rebel unless you change it up and act like you a royalty and represent who you are, and that is God. Every day you represent the Lord. Let your light shine and light up the world. That's what you're supposed to do. You're supposed to be a God servant to one another. You know, not a man servant to one man. You know, not just here to lift one man up. What is that? You know, what is to lift one man up? What for the man to gain the world and lose his soul? How you gonna lift up one man up, but you ain't gonna lift your brother up? You know, how you gonna lift up over here, but you ain't gonna lift up over there? How you gonna reach right here, but you can't reach down there? You know, is you too good to reach down there? You know, you can't dig a little deep and reach for your little brother down here. You know, your little sister down there. You know, you got so high up on your horse that you can't even reach down just a little bit. Grab somebody up, pull them up, give them a helping hand. Just here you go, lift them up. See, because I'm going to tell you something. Without that stuff, honey, without that, you ain't nobody. You ain't nobody. It don't mean nothing. You know, you can have it all. But if you ain't got God to back you up, honey, you ain't got nothing, because that stuff don't mean nothing. It ain't going nowhere. You can't take it with you when you leave here. What do it mean? It don't mean nothing, because see, once you go, it go on to somebody else and then somebody else. See, so what legacy are you living? What legacy are you leaving? What are you doing here for each other? You know, what are you doing for your family member? You know, what are you doing for your community? You know, if you got a ministry, what is your ministry about? What does your ministry represent? Is your ministry doing in the community? Are you helping for the people? Or are you just one of them, you know, you just gonna sit up and do you? You don't see, because what's one word that God is big on? And that's accountability, honey. You got to give an account. You do. You got to give an account to yourselves and each other. You know, that's one thing. And you know I'm telling the truth. I'm always going to keep it 100 with you, honey. Because, see, I got to give an account. I got to, when I transition, my soul got to go for judgment. So I got to give an account to what I get on here and tell you. You know, so I got to be right. That's why I don't listen to foolishness. I don't fill my spirit with foolishness. I don't watch TV. You know, you see what I'm saying? I tune in to the news when I'm directed to tune in to the news and find out what I need to find out. See, that's how I found out about the young king that got killed. You know, I was directed to turn in, but I don't need to know all the details. You know, it's good police and it's bad police. It is, because I done dealt with some good police, you know, and then I done seen some bad police. So what we got to do, we got to drive that evil up out of there. We got to go in and reform these police departments. They need to be reprogrammed, retrained, because I'm going to tell you something. You can believe me if you don't, if you want to, but I'm going to tell you the truth. The KKK was the police department. They didn't just change uniforms. Their uniforms is different. They don't wear the same ones they used to. And back then, they were the police, and then they branched off to be the judges and the lawyers and on up. But see what it is, now we got to root out the bad seeds, because it's bad seeds, just like when anything's planted. It's bad in there. You got to go in there and weed it out, dig it out, and get that bad out of there. Let's go and dig it on out. Because you can't wait till it grow out. It might grow up to be one of these bad weed trees around here, that they tear down and turn to paper. But we don't want to let it grow into a weed tree, huh? We got to go and root out this police department for real. Police brutality, all this foolishness. This stuff need to be ended. It's shoot now and think later. This need to be reprogrammed, redone. We are not animals to be hunted down out in the street. We wasn't even asked to be brought over here. Our ancestors were brought over here. So now, we being slaughtered. Oppression, honey, that's what it is. It's oppression. Oppression in the community. Then the oppression calls us to take it out on each other. The oppression calls us to take it out on ourselves. Like I was doing, I was taking out on myself. Then the oppression called my husband to the spiritual warfare, got him all caught up, and I'm telling you, it goes through people. It's a spiritual warfare that goes through your family, that goes through your friends, that go through anybody, who you thought you knew. I didn't think they would do me like that. Golly, boy, I never, ever, in my wildest dreams, could have ever thought so-and-so would have done that. You couldn't have paid me to believe. I'm going to tell you something. You better trust you and trust God. You better stop believing in so-and-so. You better stop believing in man. You better start believing in God and believing in you. By faith, by his spirit, step out on faith. Trust the Lord. Know within you, and knowing you that you can do it. Yes, you can. You can do it. Come tell you something somebody told me, honey. I told you about they and them. I told somebody some months ago about the GROW program. And they said, well, you got to believe something. Well, guess what? I sure believe it. I took it and ran with it. And now we global, honey. Now we touching lives. Now we making a difference. Now we lifting people up. Now we raising up God's people. Now we giving some people some hope, some faith. And knowing that God is real. If the evil is doing, then the good is out doing. I'm telling you something. There's two forces going here, honey. You got good and evil, God and the devil, however you want to switch the words up. You like crossword puzzle, whatever you like. However you want to switch it up, switch it up. Do what you got to do. But I'm telling you something. That's what's going on. You either going to be here or you're going to be there. You're going to do this or you're going to do that. You're going to get right or you're going to get left. So what you going to do, honey, you got to get it together and come on and get with the program. Get on with this Underground Railroad, this movement that we got going forward, honey. We are the last passengers on this Underground Railroad. You might as well call it the Soul Train. Get on and get the dancing, honey. Tell your people, let's grow. Let's grow in God, God bless the beloved ancestor. God bless you, Don Cornelius. I love you, Let's keep it moving, people. I'm telling you, the spirits are not resting. They are pushing this movement, honey. They are pushing me. I'm telling you, they motivate me every single day. I got my babies to deal with. I'm getting back in with the program, honey. I'm getting the program because, see, I got a little sidetracked, but I'm telling you something. I got sidetracked, but I kept my eyes on the Lord. I kept my eyes focused on the prize. I kept my eyes focused on God because, see, I knew that God was working out my battle. Look, what I stepped myself off into, going looking for some trash and found, brought over me and my daughter. But that's okay, because see, God cleaned it up and God fixed it up. And God got me back right, honey. And God got me back raring to go. And God showed me where I'm supposed to be and what I'm supposed to be doing. I'm supposed to be there for his people. And that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to lift God's people. I'm going to grow the rest of my life. It don't matter what they say. It don't matter what they think. It don't matter what they believe. It don't matter what they want to do. Because I'm going to tell you what I'm going to do. I'm going to press toward the mark of the high calling of God. See, because I know when I look to the hills, which coming my help is on the way. That's all I got to do is look to the hills, which cometh my help. Look straight up in the air. Don't look to the TV. Don't look to the foolishness. Don't call so-and-so and ask them. Don't call over here so they can run it to Channel 4 News and run it all over the neighborhood and bring it back to you another kind of way. Keep it between you and God. Trust you and God, honey. Greatness reached over oppression through wisdom all over the world. We're going to grow in love. We're going to overcome this oppression. We got to wear these masks now. But I tell you something. Show love. Let the light of God shine from you. Allow others to see your light. Just call somebody, tell them I love you. Just anybody, somebody you just call and tell them I love you. And I just was thinking about you. And God bless you. And that's it. Just show some love. Allow the light of God to shine from you. I love you. Let's rise.